Okay, we're on. Hi, everybody. It's Dara and Jenna.
Yes.
Yay.
We're here again.
Again, this is our series. This is our last video, maybe, unless we...
Who knows?
Yeah, for now. Like,
For
just
now.
for now. Like, for today.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did a beautiful series, and we're so glad you guys have liked it. It's really basically just us having a conversation about things that we like to talk about anyway.
Stuff that matters to us.
Yeah. So...
Things that I guess sometimes I'm confused about, and I need someone to kind of like discuss it with, because I know I'm reaching for like a higher way to see something, and sometimes the world doesn't always tell me the message that I need to hear, and I'm kind of know that I'm reaching for something that's a little bit more all like love and acceptance and tolerance, rather than, you know, spirituality sometimes a bit masked or in disguise.
Explain that. Do you mind explaining that?
Well, you know, I think we were talking about this yesterday, like I sometimes have a problem with things like love yourself or, you know, be vulnerable without really getting into the nitty-gritty of like how I do that and how I can be soft with myself at the same time, and how it doesn't have to become like one more way that I judge myself.
Right.
Because I'm not being like checking the spiritual checklist as well as the
Yeah,
job
we
one,
talked about this all yesterday, that it's inside. So let's say you have it inside, which we know you do. It's nice to like bat it around with someone else who sees the same or feels the same on that level, right? Like where you know you're going to get
somewhere
you're
together.
Get somewhere together. You won't be like, you'll get somewhere together. You'll have the walk around the garden, and that's what we do together. And so it was our bright idea to like start filming just the conversations about this stuff, because it's glorious to find a friend like Jenna who just holds space for the highest.
Yeah,
so that's what we're doing.
I have you to like hold my hand.
Yeah,
and, you know.
So we I guess like I'm so excited to talk about. Well, because we had a couple of ideas. I just turned on the camera. We don't really exactly know what we're talking about, other than we want to talk about the divine feminine and sex.
Yes.
So
because we had a really interesting, I guess what sparked it is that we were talking about this yesterday, and we both feel, I think, if I can speak on your behalf,
on my behalf,
that there's really mixed messaging when it comes to, especially right now with the whole like female male gender roles and all this kind of women's empowerment and women's marching and women standing up, and maybe women feeling disempowered because of what's going on in America right now. And you know, I think,
and where do you stand, and what t-shirt do you wear, and should you wear the t-shirt, and do you want to be public about it, and is it the right thing to do? And it's
so confusing.
And
I think that you know, for me, the part that I feel most, I guess, disconnected to is this idea that it you know, men have to treat us differently. Because for me, I know if I want to be treated differently, I have to be the one to start, right? So I can't expect a man to treat me any differently than he has. If you're going to the micro level, like between me and a man, forget like between all women and all men, because it starts with us, right?
Right.
So I know for me that I can't expect a guy to treat me any differently than he's used to unless I'm the one who starts. And you know,
do you start like if you're already in a relationship, or the change? It's either if you're already in one and if you're starting one.
Yeah, I think so.
So I heard once from a wise woman that women set the standard for how they are to be treated. Like it's up to the women to set the standard.
Yeah. But don't you think that because women have gone through there's so much the story of them having been mistreated, that they've almost forgot that they have the power to change it? Like, okay, it's not like about shouting and screaming to men to treat us differently. It's about us actually being how we have our own wisdom. We have our own wisdom, and standing up in the true nature of the divine feminine as a true woman, a strong woman, a true woman, a soft woman, a strong woman, whatever woman, but to stand in your own truth. Yeah. I just forgot, because of the conversation we had last night with a friend. I was like, what? Like, oh, people, like, I'm so busy doing what I do. Not really paying too much attention to all of the discord out there. But there's a lot of discord. And now that I know there is, I've seen it. I ignore it on every social media front, but I know many people are affected by it. Yes.
Right? Like you can't, and not everybody's living in a bubble. And some people are affected. And you are from a different country, and you come here and you see things probably more clearly than somebody that's right in it.
Right.
So what do you see if you were to describe, it's so funny because the people who are staying in the Airbnb upstairs is beautiful women. They're doing girl power stuff and power for women. Do you remember the name of the...
did she say women under 30 or something? Or
it was girl power. I'm going to find out. We're going to do a video with her. But in any case, like there's the message of girl and women.
Really coming to us.
Really, she was on ABC News. I'll put the link below because I'll get it from her. But it was really like they're upstairs, these gorgeous women, and they're doing things. She's a fashion photographer, and they're doing things to help women do business and be empowered and beautifully, like feminine and beautiful.
Right.
So to be, what to you does that mean? Like to be a strong woman standing in her true divine feminine energy?
Well, you know what I think it is? I think kind of like how we were talking about with human design, I think it's in everybody's interest and everyone wins if we don't keep perpetuating this rule that all women need to be strong, all women need to be this, all women need to be that. And that's whether that's coming from the sexist point of view or whether it's coming from the feminist, like we women are this, we women are this.
Well put.
Because we're all
different. Like just from the conversation we had last night, our friend was one way and you're one way and I'm this way and it's all beautiful.
Yeah, and we're all standing for we're all about the same thing at the end of the day, but we're only cheating ourselves if we're all like marching together assuming that we all have to be strong or we all have to be soft or we all have to be like we have different mixes of softness and strength and feminineness and yin and yang and like we should be celebrating the fact that all we need to do is be authentically us no matter whether we're women or male or black or white or this and that. And that's kind of what I think I see holds us back is like when we're in this whole like pro-women thing is that there is this undertone of anti-man.
I don't like that
and I don't like that
I don't like that at all. It makes me not happy to see that.
If you were starting a march, wouldn't you just be starting a march of like, let's help everyone be their higher self?
Yeah, pretty much.
Not with any messaging or...
No, it would be like, let's all be... Because when we were sitting around the table, it's like, it's the same thing with the archetypes. Like I'm really into the different archetypes that...
goddess archetypes.
Yeah, the goddess and god archetypes. But right now the god... There's a book called The Goddess in Every Woman. And it talks about how the archetypes are alive in us and we can call in different ones that we need at different times. So somebody might be strongly Aphrodite, somebody might be a goddess of war and craftsmanship, and each one could be called in a different time. And what struck me sitting here with our girls was that, well, wow, if she has some Athena qualities that I could use to help me benefit to get my business off the ground, then wouldn't it be cool to get some of that energy from her, whereas I might be able to lend some Aphrodite energy. And so it would be like, wow, that's cool, you're that, and let's celebrate that and let's share some of that energy instead of, you know, like, oh, you're so different from me and like, what are you doing? It's like, wow, let me see if I could like try that on for size, like a dress or something. Or
and the more we embrace that we are all different rather than this whole like, you know, we women are this. Like I feel cheated by that messaging somehow because I feel like even that's trying to suppress me and it's trying to make me one-dimensional. Whereas all of us, as you're saying, like we all have different energies inside of us, and some of us maybe are a bit more one way than the other, but imagine if we were trying to make everyone like you or everyone like me, and that wouldn't be...
But we all have something to learn from each other. That's the really cool thing, right? Like, oh, you think that? Oh, well, it just kind of opens your mind a little bit to a different way things could be. Yeah.
It's kind of like another solution to how we can operate better rather
than
just...
So it seems to be like peer pressure to be a certain way, like...
Yeah.
Or trendy or something. Like, you're cool if you wear this t-shirt and you feel this way about so-and-so, and if you don't, then you can't be in our club.
Right.
It's and like that just feels so weird.
I know.
I got a perfect example of that, because, like, we could ignore what we're talking about, or I could just say it, like, Trump versus not Trump. I don't fight with anyone about anything. I'm not that vested in it. But I think it's interesting to hear, like we were talking about that Muslim woman, I forgot her name, but she was on Bill Maher, and the next day I saw her do a talk, and she was the most lovely, lovely woman, and she voted for Trump, and I was like, look at her and her reasons, like how beautiful. It kind of just made my head go, that's her reasoning, and like...
Without judgment.
No. I mean, she's an amazing, brave woman who has her reasons, and I have my reasons, and somebody else has their reasons. And what would be the point of me disliking her because her reasons are different than mine?
Right. And that's so it flies against the voice of acceptance. And it's not to say that you have to be passive and not be sparked or not be inspired to change. Yeah,
right.
Of course. Which is probably why this whole thing is going on in the first place anyway. But then do you fight fire with fire? Probably not. Like, do you have to forcefully say the future is female? Like, I find that offensive.
Yeah, it's happening anyway, whether you say it or, like, it is happening. Like, there is a shifting of energy and a shifting of balance and a shifting of everything, as there is all the time. But the future is female makes it sound like the men don't get a say, and they're emasculated, and it just doesn't feel right to me. And and even if you wear a t-shirt and you like that t-shirt, then that's cool. Like, I don't have a problem with the t-shirt or the saying. It's more just like, I love you no matter what you eat or what t-shirt you're wearing, and I think to me,
that's beautiful.
My biggest thing, thank you. My biggest thing is, like, if you spend your energy like fighting this way about something that really may or may not change, or maybe came about for a reason that you can't even see yet, for the greatest good of all that we can't see. But it seems like I've always had this feeling like, if we're busy hating each other, then we're not paying attention to the things we could be doing to raise each other, right? Like,
yes.
I kind of feel like somebody wants us to be fighting. And I'm not going to say who or what it is, or any conspiracy theory, but if we're so busy pitted against each other, we're not paying attention to some serious offenses that are going on. Like what they're doing to our food. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, people are getting away with literally murder.
Yes.
And if we're fighting like this, we're not. So, like, my thing has always been like, if I just blow up good, my good radiates so big that it pushes out the bad. And if we each do that, then the negativity or the bad things aren't supported. It's almost like if you give energy to it, it lives more. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. Even if you have all the right reasons, and even if you're doing it from a place of, like, wanting justice or equality or whatever, the way that you approach something, if it's not with love, then it isn't.
And that's my way. Like, I have full respect for people who are here to affect change in different ways. So it's not, there are the people who affect change in stronger ways, and there are the people who affect change in my way. Or there's a place for me, like, from this higher perspective, I just see the fighting as, like, almost like a waste of time.
Well, so to take it back to the feminine and the men thing, then
really,
it's not so much about blaming a man. It's about actually this belief almost that you almost want to teach people how to treat you by rising up and being the best version of yourself, and then hopefully inspiring others to be the same way. And it does begin on a micro level, because you could have all the.
So let's have an example. I like details.
Yes. So, for example, I have a lot of girlfriends, and I have been one of these people who is mad at a man for not treating me the way that I want to be treated. Or not having the dynamic with me that I want to have, or being narcissistic or too macho, or not paying attention to my feelings, or all these kind of things. Okay, let's take paying attention to my feelings, right? Because I think that's a common one. I think that women and vulnerability and being understood by a man is like a very big it's almost like endemic right now. And I basically realized after a relationship that I was in, that instead of me blaming a man for being a certain way with me and never feeling connected to the man and thinking it was the man's fault, I was like, hold on a second, why am I not understanding that I have the wisdom and the knowledge to be proactive about this? And why don't I take the risk of opening up to somebody and creating this environment of me being completely open?
Therein lies the beauty, I think, the piece that you said, which is the vulnerability piece. Why don't I take a risk and put it out there?
Yeah. But it's not really a risk, because I win. I win either way.
Right. It's not a risk. That's what we have to know. It's not a risk to stand up, speak up, show up as you are.
Right. Because if I don't express my needs in a kind, loving, soft, open, appropriate for the time we've been dating kind of way, then there's no way that I can expect someone to even show up for my needs. If I'm not being my own best friend, how can I let someone else in to be my best friend?
Yeah, that's legit. Like, how would they know? So that's great. That's really great.
And you know, if they don't get it, it's also not scary to me because I'm like, okay, well, I'll know even quicker that they're not right for me. Next. Like if you're just
so the biggest thing really is knowing your needs, like knowing your it's like we need to know ourselves, right? That's human design comes in again because you know, Jenna does readings and she can help you figure out, or mybodygraph.com or whatever, however you want to find out about human design, you can find out even more detailed. Like it can help you figure out your needs so that you can have them met. I think the biggest thing is knowing what your needs are. Before you can get them met, you need to know what you can like, you know, let go on and what you need to like hold high. Right?
But like, for example, and you're such a good example of this, like imagine if, for, you know, you like words of affirmation, you like being appreciated, right? There's no part of you that when you're expressing a preference of that to a man, when you say to a guy, you know, I really like it when you say this, there's no part of you that's saying that with an expectation to be wronged. There's no part of you that's saying that without faith that someone can meet your needs. And there's no part of you that's judging you for having those needs. So therefore what's happening is when you deliver that, you're
so true.
Opening this it's like a welcoming thing. You know, I really love it when this, and that's it. Like you're just saying that you love it.
Yeah.
There's not this like, you know, I really do like it when you this, or because I've done that.
It's more like, God, I love when you just said that I was pretty. Like, gosh, I really like when you say that I just made food and you feel so appreciative. Yeah, it comes from that. And it also, because now I know, I have faith because I know it lights me up. Like, if I know it lights me up and that person gets the light up, they're going to be happy because really, they want you to be happy. I assume that. I definitely assume that. I imagine when you were saying that perhaps there has been a time in my life where I would have thought, maybe, I'm not sure, like what's my problem? Like, why do I need to hear how good I am? Like that could be, but I came from a family that did that. Like my mom was very words of affirmation.
Wow.
You're so great, you're so talented. Like, so it was just natural in our house. Like that's just what we did.
That's really nice though, because it's giving you the faith.
Yeah, that's just what you do. That's just like an act of love. Like, of course, you tell your child that they're gifted and they're sweet and they're everything they do. You know what I mean? Like, that's just where I come from.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't think that's
that's not always the norm. I found out. No.
But like for me, for example, the story I would have told myself in the past, reasons I wouldn't have spoken up is like, well, what's the point of saying my needs because they're dumb? Or what's the point of speaking up because they're not going to meet it anyway? They're not going to be able to meet my needs anyway. Like these are all assumptions that I don't even know unless I test them.
Right.
You know, my needs are my needs. They're not stupid. Everybody's needs are totally valid.
They're kind of fun. Like if I know what makes you happy and I get to see you light up, like isn't it fun for me to do it?
Yeah. And then you get to meet the person who so easily can meet your needs or loves to meet your needs or whose needs to them your needs are sweet and cute and they love that about you and it's about discovering more about who you are. And
so really a great tool is the 5 love languages. That's a simple one by Gary Chapman. It's simple, it's an easy read. You could take the free quiz online and you can see what your major love language is and your partner and your daughter and your son, and you can go, wow, they really sometimes they're hard to figure out, but most of the time you're like, that's it. And then you try doing what it is, and if it works, it's so fun. Really, it really is. Like,
but it's just one big gentle experiment. Like you get to know what your own needs are through being with other people, through being with yourself, through being your own best friend, for speaking up about your truth in that any given moment, and not in a pushy or forcey way, but just like, this is who I am. And that's also what I think real strength is just like, no need to kind of impose stuff on other people, or no need to shout and scream. It's just like,
it's gentle. It's gentle. It's like, this is my truth. This is my truth. It's not an ultimatum. It's not a demand. It's not a demand. It's not the truth. It's my truth. And there it is. Like, poof, there it is. Like, you just, like, there it is. Yeah. And it's not like, I think you're right. As long as you come to it, just showing up with it, it can't be disputed.
Yeah.
But if you're uncertain about it, it can be disputed. So it's the energy in which you show up. Like, I think that we make changes in our life. We show up with a new boyfriend, or we have a new job, or people don't understand that all of a sudden you're into human design and you're not doing this, and you show up differently. And if you show up differently with great uncertainty, those people are going to read that and they could like take you under.
Yes.
But if you show up like, this is what I'm doing now, for now, but this is what I'm doing, they kind of have to accept it. Maybe not at first, but they will come to accept it. Like, if you come in with, like, a strength, like, this is who I'm dating, yes, that's what I'm doing.
This is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, the thing about starting a new relationship is it's so nice to have a blank slate. I mean, not that you can't ever choose to do it, but I think a new relationship is such a good time
to set the standard.
To really set the standard. And as a woman, you really can do that.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to come from a place of assuming woundedness and hurt.
I better be quiet. I better just play the game. I better do what It's all wrong. It actually could make a man uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if you're playing a game and if you're being too strategic, then you're already deciding that you're creating a place where a man can't come in and find you. So then you've already like written that off the table. Like, expect for a man to just not be able to navigate, you know? Because when we're playing games, we're blocking our authentic self anyway. Yeah. You know? So it's not like...
So there is no rule if you sleep with him too early. There's no rule if you call or don't call. Like, if it's really meant to be, you really can't mess it up.
Yeah.
What do you say? Oh, you say that cool saying, if it's meant to stay, if it's meant... It's really good.
If someone is meant... Oh, God, what is it? If someone is meant for you, then nothing will take them away. And if someone is not meant for you, then nothing will make them stay.
It's perfect. That's it.
It's just like... But I know, for me... that it's also about me being there for myself in a relationship or not in a relationship. Is like, am I going to be good to myself by speaking up for my needs? Am I going to be good to myself by being me? Because when it's just me and me, at the end of the day, it's always about us and our relationship with ourselves. I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm going to have, like, I always call it, like, authenticity hangover. If I haven't been myself, I feel horrible the next day. I'm like, ugh.
Ew. It's so
why
true.
Did I
it might
have to see you when I didn't mean it?
Or why did I behave that way? That wasn't in my, why did I do that? And it could happen, like, an hour later or the next day.
Yeah. But we betray ourselves.
And you know it when you feel kind of like ick about yourself. You're like, who was I? It's almost like being a little kid and you get mad at your parents and then you're stuck in the mad feeling and you can't get out of it and you're kind of embarrassed by your behavior because you're like in it. We're grown up enough to go. My friend Gary once said, at any moment you can choose to be who you are. That's it. Like, at any moment. So you may have behaved whatever, and then you could go back to that teller at the bank or whoever you behaved whatever to because you were having a bad moment and be like, I'm kind of sorry I did that. That's really not my normal self, and please forgive me because we all have moments, and you know what I mean? So you don't have to leave that energy behind. You can do a cleanup.
Yes, I did that last week actually.
I'm going to make sure we're on.
I did that last week with someone that I work with, and basically I was kind of worried that things weren't happening on the timeline that I wanted them to happen on, and she has an eye for detail and I'm like much more of a Aquarius kind of big picture thing, and I was feeling bogged down by the fact that she was talking to me about detail, and I kind of got a bit like short and snappy, and then obviously right after we got off the phone I felt terrible about myself, and instead of going, what my ego obviously always wants to do is say, oh, well, it was that other person's fault and they shouldn't be like this. They're just exactly how they are. Like, that's not the issue. We all need to be different anyway. So I called her up straight after and I was like, I'm just like this and I'm having a hard time seeing things the way that you see them, and we just need to work out that actually we both have that different strengths. Like, you see detail and I see big picture. And actually it is a good thing, but sometimes we will just bump up against each other. Yeah. And please don't take it personally. Because I can imagine, like how awful to feel like you're just having a discord with someone who you adore. Like, it's not okay.
Yeah.
But then need to be you feel good for fixing it.
You feel so much better.
You can always
fix it. Was she better for you having fixed it? You could feel the energy shift. It's like, oh, thank God, I don't want to have discord with Jenna. Like,
it's horrible. And I don't want to have discord with me. It's selfish in a way, because you're like,
I want to sit with it. It's the worst feeling. You know? When you behave badly, we've all done it. We've all behaved badly to somebody that just didn't deserve it for whatever twist we were in or notion we had or needs that weren't getting met.
So the most important thing, I think, when someone's getting to know you, especially when you're in an intimate relationship, is be, you know, share as much as you can about who you are. Let that person in. Create the space. If you want someone to come into your world and get to know you, create the space for them to come into that world. You know, the good and the bad. And when you say the bad with a non-judgmental way, people will just be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I was recently told that I'm pretty open when it comes to things. Someone asked me a question, I answer. They don't have a notion that what I've done or not done is bad, right? Or good. It's just, it is what it is. Like, it's almost like, and it's refreshing to people because they're so used to people, like when you date or you meet someone, like, oh, I don't want to tell you that because you won't like me, right? I can't share that because you won't. Yeah, it's like, well, I don't have a problem with what I've done or been through, or it just makes me who I am. So it really is self-acceptance. It's really knowing your needs. It's really, that's the biggest one. Knowing your needs, being...
and there's nothing that you can do that makes you undeserving of love. Like, everyone is such a pure soul at the end of the day.
That's such a huge one.
There really isn't. You know? Like, as long as you're alive, in the eyes of the universe, you're here to be loved and to be happy. So it's
someone's gonna love you if you open up and remove like the defenses, and you can open up and let them love you. But if you're shut down and you're closed and defensive because you feel shame about something, they're not going to be able to love you. There's a thing that happens with the eyes. Like when I look into your eyes, they look all soft and like, you know what I mean? Like there's like a warmth. Sometimes when someone's closed, it's just kind of like cold. And we have to like, I think if we have defenses and we are nervous, and it's like a good idea to work on softening the outer shell. Does that make sense?
How do you do that? When you catch yourself feeling a little hot.
Like a little like, or like closed. It's not a good feeling. I think I've just been practiced at, I don't really go out until I'm feeling like, you know what I mean? Like if I'm feeling closed or shut down, I keep to myself until I'm feeling like, I'm very aware of my energy and I know it's big and I know I can affect people greatly.
Right, so you don't want to infect people if you're in a bad
No, I try not to go places or do it. Like I try to check myself to shift the energy. There's heart calming mudras, mantras you can do. There's different, like you can close your eyes and I take baths. Like it's literally a way that I reset the energy.
Oh, okay, that's
and
cool.
I take a bath. I have a crystal. I have a candle. I like sort myself out before I go out into the world.
So you just recenter basically to get rid of the toughness.
And then if I am tough, it might take me like a week and then I might go, wow, I really wasn't listening because I was afraid to hear what you were going to say, but I see that I have been blocking something. So it could take me a week to figure it out. It might happen.
Yeah.
It usually happens when we're afraid. We're either afraid of someone telling us something we don't want to hear or losing love, really. It's fear of losing love. Because you don't want someone to see your inner self if you're afraid if they see they won't love you, and you might not want to hear something because you're afraid you're going to lose love. It's really, to me, it's about love. Like it's fear that you're going to lose something. So somehow, like you say, be your own best friend, or soften, or it's coming back to that we are love and that we are never alone, and that if we walk around with that fear, we are sure as heck we're going to not get the love that we want. It's like behaving counterintuitive to what you really do want, because the fear will block the love.
Yes.
I don't know, massage will do it, rolfing, like there's so many different tools for like fixing yoga, massage, meditation, baths, jumping, something funny, some humor. Looking into somebody else's eyes. There's so many ways you can like just check yourself.
Yes. And also, I think fundamentally remembering that you are lovable. Everybody is lovable. Not because you're special or unspecial, more than other people, less than other people. Everybody's lovable.
There's a mantra. I am loved, lovable, and loving, lovable, and loved. Something like that. I'm loved. I'm loved.
Yeah.
I'm loving. So that means I'm getting love and I'm giving love. Those two. And then is there another one? Loved, loving. Lovable's cute. We could throw that in there. I'm lovable.
But at the same time, you don't have to be mistake-free or flaw-free to be the lovable. Like, those two coexist in everybody. So there's nothing that I can do to not be, how do I say this? If I feel like I'm being tough and hard, it's because there's still some work for me to do on accepting my not such good stuff.
Right.
And what I'm doing is mistaking that it's other people not loving me when I'm realizing that actually
you're not loving yourself.
Or I'm judging, I'm saying, I'm trying to be the authority on saying because I've done this and that, I'm saying I'm not worthy of love. And it's not up to me to declare that I'm unworthy of love.
It's so not up to you to declare that. It's kind of rude, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like presumptuous to like for you to decide, that you're not worthy of love.
Yeah.
I think this is a really tough subject to grasp. Like, I don't think it's a tough thing to grasp. I think it's like, I feel like I want to give something concrete, even more concrete about, because there's like levels of feeling unworthy. There's levels of feeling not good enough, or, afraid that someone's gonna dislike you. Like, it's almost like this could be like a series of videos, just how to break down the walls, how to know that we're lovable. The moments when I know it is when there's been like divine has landed, like the moment when my mom was passing and I guided her to the other side. When you have that kind of pure love, there's no thinking about your body, or there's no thinking about anything you've done wrong. All of that drops away.
Wow.
So like, it's really connection to spirit that lets you know these things that you're saying that that maybe somebody else doesn't feel yet, to really somehow get one technique or one open moment to feel that divine love, so that you are loved.
Yes. But the thing is, I don't know for sure. Like, I think I know and I'd like to believe, but it's not like it's not like one side and then you pop out the other side. It's like, it's forever, like until the day you die.
It's a forever practice.
It's a new
like,
learning.
Is this right? Yes. Because you might have that incredible feeling good, like I am loved and I know this, and then it's gone and you're like, where did it go?
Yeah.
And then that's why I'm thinking of the tools to get you there. You're like, I felt it, I knew it, but I feel so crappy today. How am I gonna, you know what I mean? Like, so to me, because I like practicality, like how do you make food? How do you do, like, so it would be really cool for us to come up with ways in which you can tap in to the I am loved. We see it in the t-shirts, people say it, but I know that some people hear this stuff and it just goes, wow, you know what I mean? Because
I'm
like,
one of those people.
Yeah, it just kind of, it could be like, oh, there they are talking about we're all one, or I am loved. And I don't want it to sound like that. I want it to be like concrete,
Yeah. I don't know, for me it's much more kind of like airy-fairy, in the sense that if I know that what I want to do is, like, let's say, be there for myself more, love myself more, then I now will be like, show me or send me, universe, the perfect next thing.
Beautiful.
To give me a taste
That's
of
beautiful.
what that is. And say I'm at level 1 out of 10.
You are a good pair. It's so funny, because I'm like, okay, what are the things we can do earthly to get this going? Okay, and you're like, okay, ask. And so as above, so below. We're doing like both. We're doing both.
Yeah.
I
but
like
then,
this.
Like,
I like
for
your
example,
way.
If I'm at
ask
like
for it.
Yeah, and if I'm at a 1 out of 10 right now, like if I feel loving 1 out of 10, then
what do you mean 10 being highest?
10 being like the where I want to be.
Okay.
Then I'll just say like, I don't need to be at a 10 tomorrow. Like, I give myself the space of just like, it's a process.
Like a little.
I don't want to just like have that yesterday and tomorrow, because I used to be very impatient, and I'd be like, unless I'm there, I'm not good enough. So now I'm like,
you're an achiever. Okay.
Yeah. And unless now I'm like, okay, well, just help me get from a 1 to a 2. Like, help me get a taste of the 2. And even if I'm 70% still living in the 1, at least I know what the 2's like.
This is very practical. Even though it sounds airy-fairy, it's actually really practical, because the words are, show me. Like, you could say out loud, show me. And then it does work that way.
It does work that way.
I literally asked for something like that this morning. I'm like, something lift me up. And then all of a sudden I was getting texts from London, and I got a text from New York, and things that would just went, and you can ask for it.
You can ask.
So you could take a bath, and while you're sitting in the bath, you could ask for, it's so nice to hear Jenna's perspective. It's so nice to hear like, that's a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I'm really like, cool. Oh, she bathes? What? Like, that's so cool.
Well, I take a bath, of course. Like, I'm Cancer Moon, and I'm double Earth, like Capricorn Virgo. So I'm all about like, the nurturing myself. So it's physical. the nurturing, and then the earth is like on the earthly plane. What do I do for myself?
Yes, how does it actually physically manifest?
It's in roses. Like, I will get myself roses. I will get the crystal. I will get the candle. I will remind myself that, of course, there's divine creation, because how could you have anything other than when that's in your face? Like, that has to be, there has to be something magical going on if that's sitting on my table. Like, it's very much like tactile or...
That's so fab. So I guess it's about getting to know what it is that can kind of just like pull you back and remind you, like getting whatever practices are in.
But I believe in magic. Like, I believe that when you ask, like you just said, you get the answer. You get something shown to you.
Get something. If you're open and you don't think you know all the answers,
just ask.
I'm willing to be surprised.
Such a good reminder, Jenna.
Or willing to be proved wrong about what I think, what my beliefs are. Like, show me if I'm wrong. It's totally fine.
I love that. I love that. Just ask. It's like the lazy woman's guide to getting money. it's like just show me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't. I
have to work at it.
Point. No, like the
It'll
universe
show up
knows
at the
way
door.
better than me. You know.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, but it's funny because, you know, and again, like, you know, with this whole like law of attraction thing, where it's like, okay, what does that even mean? Like, you know, you do good and you get good, whatever. But like, it's really just like, for me, it's like the same in relationships. It's like, if you show up in a certain way, then someone, if they can't show up in the same way for you, then they fall away. Because they just can't meet you there, and so then you see it, and then it's not so devastating. Or like, if I want to be this, I'll give you, at least I owe it to you to give you the chance to be the same, to be what I need.
That's beautiful.
But if I'm not even giving you the chance, how can I be mad at you?
Yeah, so good.
And if you don't want to be there, then that's fine too.
Fall away.
But then let's just fall away.
So good. This is talk about girl power and empowering young women, older women, any women, any men to just be who you are and hold it. Hold it.
Yeah.
This
is who I am.
Hold it.
And it doesn't have to be, you know, like the old me would have also made it super heavy.
This is who I am.
Yeah, this is who I am.
And you need to.
If you're not, exactly.
But it's like, no, it's a big difference how you say it, right?
Yes.
This is who I am. You know?
Yeah.
Or like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is it.
And sometimes it really helps to call yourself out on your own stuff too. You know, like, I'm super forgetful, you know, I'm super airy-fairy, I have my head in the clouds sometimes, I'm not always consistent, like, you know, and not in a heavy way. Again, sometimes you just be like, oh, you know, it's a thing with me, like it's just my thing, you know, like I might change my mind about something tomorrow. Right. But when people feel like they know that, then it's not this like big source of unknown pain, heavy.
Yeah, it's so true.
Something, you just
kind of like giving somebody a heads up.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
How valued do you feel if someone gives you like a little kind of like
heads up? Heads up, I do this, just so you know.
Yeah.
Heads up, when you do that and it has nothing to do with you, it reminds me of this, and that might not feel so good.
Oh my god, that would
gotta
be
tell
so
you.
Special.
Yeah, gotta tell you, because like I'll clench up and you'll have no idea why I'm doing it, and it has nothing to do with you at all.
Aww.
Yeah.
And that's how much connection do you feel?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna do my best to not do that because I don't want you to clench up or feel bad. So so there's a lot of ways in which we can get our needs met, have intimacy, be strong women or men, be strong in ourselves. Yeah. So this strong masculine, this divine feminine, the whatever, is that you're just being true and authentic to yourself.
Yes, and by
I
the
think
way,
that's the answer, right?
Yes.
Full circle.
100%. And you know, the other thing that was a big thing for me
Which
is...
we'll have to talk about sex after, like the next video.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's a whole other topic. But honestly, one day I got this thing of like, if you think it's hard to be a woman and be connected and be there, I think it's even harder for a man. So it really is almost like, I take that as like, it's on me to make this, to create a space where we're connected and stuff, because imagine the relief of a man to feel like he's totally accepted by a woman who's non-judgmental, who's not expecting him to be this tough, strong thing all the time. Like, how valued would you feel as a man if there's just a woman who's allowing you to be yourself instead of hide behind this like, you know, shield of a thing? It's like, you know, that's a beautiful gift you can give to a man.
It's gorgeous.
And then you get so much in return as well, because you're like, okay, this is a space of our main goals is not to be shady, to always be connected, to always communicate, to value each other's weird isms and things.
Yeah.
And then let's see where it goes.
Yeah. So start in the beginning, catch it in the beginning. It's almost like you need it's like it's like you need to read a book, like The Way of the Superior Man is a great book, and there's a women's version, fantastic to read before you get in there, before you start. Know the love languages. Know, be prepared with some things that might trigger you, just so you know them. And you
can only be better off for it.
Yeah, and if somebody leaves and they're not there, they weren't meant to be there. So
as long as you're happy with the way that you acted.
Yeah.
And the way that you act.
Behave with divine feminine love and divine masculine love. If you are of your highest, behaving from your highest self with love, and we know the difference. The difference is when you're behaving from your highest self or with love, there's like a peace. There's not like an edginess to it. There's just like a breath to it. When you get all bent out of shape and you're acting from there, it's usually not from that place.
Well, because I genuinely think the biggest pain we can cause is when we betray ourselves. Like, other people can hurt us, but I feel the worst when I've not acted the way that I'm.
Does she live here? Okay, so we're just got cut off because a phone call came in. So we're going to end this video, and then we're going to talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you. And no, we'll do that next. So, I think this is a good. Anything you want to say to wrap it up?
No.
That's good?
Just be you.
Just be you. I'll be you. I'll be me, and you be you.